floor more, you have to come to Harden's penetration. A great lob to Howard.
Beverly dogging Parker. A good on-ball defender. 8 on the shot clock already. Leonard from downtown for the Spurs. That's why he's shooting 48% from downtown on the season. He is putting a lot of work behind the line over the past couple of years. We'll see Lakers-Clippers. ABC Saturday, good matchup. These Spurs taking on the Cavs, and Sunday on ABC at 3:30, Chicago taking on the Clippers.
I love Panera Bread soups. Unbelievable.
It's the quiche, too.
I really?
Oh, morning. Yeah, that's a go-to meal. Kawhi Leonard from the corner. A timeout, Houston. At the first sign of trouble, John Blair Bickerstaff wants to hit the reset button. But Kawhi Leonard is doing a lot of that this year. A much improved shooter back after this. Three now.
And Mark, everybody in the NBA has been humbled by a blowout. Now, the Spurs obviously rarely get blown out, but I think you don't want to read too much into one regular season game. Certainly on that night, Golden State showed why they are the prohibitive favorite to win it all. But there's a long way to go, and there's a lot more games to be played between those two teams.
AAU teammates teaming up for that bucket.
And talking to J.B. Bickerstaff, he said that is exactly what they most value about Josh Smith, is his passing ability.
Leonard off the mark, and the Rockets now with a chance to take the lead. Harden to the bucket, draws a little bit of contact, and makes this. Aldridge, that's been his shot over the years, and he missed everything.
Capella did a good job holding his ground.
Kawhi Leonard guarding Harden. Harden had it partially blocked by the reigning defensive player of the year, out of bounds. It'll stay Houston basketball. As Jason Terry comes into the ball game now, and Harden will get a breather.
And this is where Ty Lawson has to be aggressive. With both Harden and Howard out, they need someone to create shots. Same 2 free throws and get the ball back out.
Sounds a little absurd, but got a point there, partner. Well, the Junior NBA presented by Under Armour is the league's youth basketball participation program for boys and girls ages 6 through 14 that teaches them the fundamental skills and core values of the game at the grassroots level to help grow and improve youth basketball experience for all. To learn more about Junior NBA and register your youth organization, visit juniornba.com.
I hope the Junior NBA puts in a rule where you can foul the inbounder out of bounds. That would be really good to teach the young kids right from a good age. If you want to play in the NBA, foul your way to significance.
You talk about the fundamentals of fouling early. Boban Marjanovic, all 7-3, checking into the ball game for the San Antonio Spurs. He has become somewhat of a cult hero here in San Antonio. And he has some large mittens, Jeff. That basketball looks like a grapefruit in his hands.
I think eventually he can be, at worst, a rotational player on a very good team, or ultimately he may be able to be a starter on some teams. Again, another great find by the Spurs. He's no cult hero as far as
I think the second one.
But I mean, he's. I just can't believe this right now. I'm just. Oh man. Okay.
Lead is down to 9. Mills off the screen. Leonard, good matchup against Ariza, who fouls Leonard on the mid-range jump shot, and Leonard will go to the free throw line. That's the second personal foul against Trevor Ariza. Well, Kawhi Leonard was the Spurs' leading scorer in that game against Golden State on Monday at 16 points in that 30-point blowout. And don't forget, coming up next, Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors taking on the Dallas Mavericks. As Curry didn't even play in the fourth quarter against San Antonio. And I tell you what, Leonard guarded him. They started with Danny Green on him. San Antonio simply didn't have an answer for Steph Curry.
No one has an answer for Steph Curry with that lineup, particularly with Draymond Green when he's at the four. Pull things away from San Antonio because San Antonio is the better team. And so, you know, again, a lot depends on a lot of things, but certainly the margin for error for San Antonio is much larger than it is for Houston.
Interesting. Here's Leonard out top off the Aldridge screen. Howard helped out, well defended by Ariza.
Howard's had some excellent defensive sequences against pick and rolls.
Seems to be moving well on that ankle that kept him out of the last 3 games. Harden on the drive. Aaron the pass, missing Howard. Bickerstaff said that he was going to play Howard in 6-minute stretches. There's Leonard. The 3-ball good. I'm not sure many people saw the 3-point shooting prowess or possibilities of Leonard. And the Spurs needs a few stops here. Parker working against Lawson. Rebounded by Capella. Harden all the way into the paint, left it short. The whistle and a foul going to go against San Antonio. As Harden ended up on his backside, the foul going to go against Kawhi Leonard. Appears to be a little shaken up.
Number 1, Trevor Ariza.
That sends Trevor Ariza to the free throw line. Rockets have stalled here offensively in the second quarter. What do you think's been the problem, Jeff, more than anything else?
Well, I think, San Antonio is such an elite defensive team that it's very difficult against them. Secondly, you know, the Rockets don't have a lot of creative players off the dribble. It's James Harden. They had hoped that Ty Lawson could give them that. So it's not an overly gifted offensive roster. So you put an elite defense with a limited offensive team, particularly when Harden's not in, it's going to be a challenge.
Ariza got a hand up on Leonard. It didn't matter. Kawhi Leonard said during the offseason that he wanted to be considered amongst MVP candidates this year. And he certainly is right now, putting a lot of work. Saw him over the summer out in Las Vegas at the USA Basketball training camp. And he has really continued to improve. On cue. You look at him shoot, Jeff, that really underscores the great player development they've done with him here in San Antonio. He didn't shoot that well as a rookie here.
Well, when you have great improvement, you get shocked that Devin Booker's not on that.
What about that? Booker, one of the better 3-point shooters in the league. Harden with good defense on Anderson. 4 on the shot clock for Leonard. Pulls his way through the defense. Tipped up and in by LaMarcus Aldridge. Aldridge with 14 points now in the first half. Capella going to work inside.
To a shooter like Capella, you have to be very alert when you're in the inside position where Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge are for bad bounces.
Boy, they've shot 31 foul shots already, Jeff. 18 of 31. I can tell you're excited.
Free throws. Exciting basketball.
20-point lead. Leonard with the crossover on Ariza. Lost the handle. And that's going to be the end of the first half. So people wondering in wake of the loss to the Golden State Warriors what the response would be from Greg Popovich and the San Antonio Spurs. Well, They're back in the house, folks, leading by 20. Danny Green came out with hot three-point shooting to get the party started. He's 5 of 7 from downtown. And Leonard doing some heavy lifting, too. Stay tuned for the Toyota halftime coming up right after these messages.
The NBA on ESPN, presented all season long by State Farm, is brought to you by Schick Extreme.
Had some success in the last 3 games, going with their small lineup, putting Capella or Dwight Howard as the only big on the floor. The problem with this matchup, however, is the Spurs.
Again, having a smaller Danny Green on him.
And Brewer missed everything on the three. Leonard working against the shorter Patrick Beverly. And then rattles halfway down and out. Brewer on the break. And a careless pass resulting in the turnover. Green to Parker for the layup.
As bad as some fast break execution was in the first half, that was surgical. 2 touch passes ending up in a layup.
Defers to Ariza, who knocks down the triple. You talked about the Los Angeles Clippers a moment ago, Jeff. Blake Griffin involved in an altercation with a staff member, breaking his hand, out for 4 to 6 weeks. What do you make of that incident in its entirety moving forward?
Well, not knowing all the factors, you can certainly see that maybe alcohol played a part. You could see possibly, that things were said in the restaurant, probably maybe both ways, that escalated it. Great player. And Blake Griffin, nothing is diminished about his playing ability by this incident. This guy is a terrific, terrific basketball player who obviously showed some poor judgment.
Leonard in the front court, working against Harden, and he knocks down the jump shot. And you mentioned it, there's a narrative out there that looks at the Clippers' record without Blake Griffin and says they're better without him. I don't see that. Your thoughts?
Well, long term.
One more shot at a potential championship. Both he and Duncan, 38 and 39 years old, respectively. Aldridge right now, part of the core of the future, along with this guy, Kawhi Leonard, perhaps the face of the franchise moving forward.
Everybody speaks about Kawhi Leonard's improvement as a shooter, but the ability off the dribble to create his own shot, his handle, his movement without